The first of the two principal components of my remarks this morning regards the trends or circumstances that I was mentioning. And the first of those, which is on the lips of practically everybody in business here these days, is nearshoring. You probably hear a lot about it, or at least read a lot about it in the business media. And fundamentally, in this case, we're talking about moving manufacturing from someplace far from your market to someplace much closer to your market. If we're talking about companies in the United States that were manufacturing in China, which is a lot of companies, that's really a super hot topic right now in Mexico, and it is having a big impact on our industrial environment. A couple of reasons for that. First, we discovered during the COVID-19 pandemic the famous supply chain disruptions, where it became increasingly difficult for brands based in the United States to obtain their products manufactured in China, either because the factory in China was shut down for the pandemic or because there were disruptions to the flow of containers for shipping, maritime shipping and things like that. And now, particularly in the context of the war in Ukraine, there are heightened concerns over the potential for some type of intervention by China in Taiwan or other types of conflict, trade or diplomatic between the United States and China that could impact the facility with which you are able to manufacture in China or elsewhere in Asia, possibly, and easily and cheaply bring your goods over to the United States. And so there is a lot of let's say, discussion and activity with companies looking at Mexico as a possible alternative to manufacture in Mexico a portion of what they were currently or what they are currently manufacturing in China, or perhaps move the entire manufacturing process to Mexico to gain some of the cost advantages that Mexico offers and have their manufacturing much closer to the United States in the event of disruptions of the type that we just mentioned. One of the things that is happening that impacts our customers' business is that the drive to move manufacturing to Mexico is expanding the manufacturing base here in Mexico, which was already significantly large, but now it's becoming even larger. And there's discussion of a boom in manufacturing, which will drive demand for the types of equipment that goes into manufacturing plants, processing plants, and all types of related secondary operations, transport, and even hotels and things like that in the industrial areas. It's happening now, particularly in the northern regions of the country, but we also have some expansion around Mexico City and in some other individual locations. And so this is driving growth in certain areas. Just to give some examples, one of these areas is automotive manufacturing, one of Mexico's most important advanced manufacturing industries. There's a ton of new investment in expansion of plants and establishment of new manufacturing plants to supply the automotive manufacturing industry here. And in particular, now with the evolution toward electric vehicles around the world, companies that make finished vehicles are now bringing some of their EV component manufacturing to Mexico, and that is looking like it will be a significant area of growth going forward, a category of the automotive sector. But also, as I mentioned, industrial parks, there's huge growth in the construction and expansion of industrial parks these days. So if your company makes something that is used in these types of facilities, like whether it be security systems or parking lot equipment or coatings for roofs or telescopic lifts and all this kind of thing, the base of demand here in Mexico for those types of products will necessarily expand due to this trend in nearshoring. Also, the media has mentioned many times regarding airports and air travel because of the increase in folks coming from other countries to their industrial operations here in Mexico. So you have equipment for airports and things like that because the airports are frequently being expanded. And we have the next slide.